Today I thought I would start tackling some of the door gaskets. I just took the one off of the driver door and set it here. You can see it was from someone rubbing on it in the back of the door. That was getting all torn. Those are the new ones there. Looks like they're all about the same length, so they're probably cut to size. And what's happening is they're shrinking, like this one back here is actually sagging down. It's supposed to be all the way up in, but it's shrunk and wants to keep dropping down. And there's also a lot of dirt in it. And if you get here, you'll see it's actually flattened out. It's supposed to be rounded. I don't know if I can show you a good angle on that. You see how it's got a flat spot where the door's been closing on it. Now this one you could probably loosen this up from the bottom and push some of the slack up here, and then put some foam tubing or fabric piping, whatever they call it, inside here to tighten this back up. But being that my front one was torn up and I actually had like a 2-inch gap on the bottom where the seam was at, I just bought new gaskets. The dealer actually said it was the only set they could find, so I guess they're probably no longer available in this color, so I kind of got lucky on that. To get the gasket out of this door, there's this piece on the front where there's 2 screws. One's actually behind the hood latch here. Then you can get that off, and there's 1 screw here, 1 screw there, and then there's some tabs. You can see where the rust is there. Those tabs go into right here. So these little springs grab onto that tab. So you kind of have to wiggle it back and forth and then pull up on it until that comes out. Kind of like that kind of motion. And then this will push in and up enough so you don't have to unclip that off the back to get the gasket out here. Here, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to get that in. I'm just going to have to push it in a little at a time and try not to flex this too much, because there are some spots on the top where the sun's been hitting it where it's a little bit brittle, but I'm pretty sure I can push the gasket in here. And I'm going to start right here and then work my way around, clean all the dirt off of it, because if there's any mud in here, it will keep the gasket from sealing. I'm hoping I don't have to take this plastic piece off, because it seems to go in behind it just fine. So fingers crossed on that, but it came out pretty easy. This one, you can actually see how it loops over top of it. This one doesn't. It kind of just sits up against it, so that's why I had to loosen that one. It actually goes over the actual lip. This one doesn't. Same thing in here. This one doesn't go over the lip, but it's still going to be going around it a little bit. So we're going to try and stick it all together. So I'll keep you guys posted as I go. I'll take my time. If I find any difficult spots, I'll let you know. Okay, there's a couple different flaps. Well, I should say slots in this gasket. You can see one where my thumb's in has all these like one-way burrs. That's the one that's going to go on this main seam here. And there's another kind of an overlay right here, this outside piece that's going to lay over the plastic trim, so it's kind of hard to see in here. You can see that slot here is going in between this plastic trim, and then this painted piece goes over top of that. And then you're going to have to push that in as you go. I'm going to be copying sort of what's on the other side. I'll show you on the other side. Hang on. Okay, here's the old gasket that's still in place. I haven't taken it off, and you can see it's on the outside of it. Right there. Okay. And I kind of have to wheel the gasket on. I'll kind of try to show you how you have to kind of jiggle it to go into place. while you're massaging it in, you kind of have to go side to side and then push it up in, and then make sure this is on the outside of the plastic. But you kind of need 2 hands to do it, so I'm gonna do that off camera. Okay, same thing here. We're gonna come off of the plastic, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a slot in this headliner right here. You can kind of see where the old gasket was sitting. Okay, this one's got just a little bit of a lip. So what I'm doing is I have my thumb on the inside here while I'm pushing it on. And I'll be down to the bottom very soon. So make sure you don't get that pinched on the wrong side. So at least this side's staying up nice and tight. This has always been dropped down, and I've had wind noise coming in through this corner for the longest time. You can see how this one's kind of dropping down a little bit. It's kind of lost its tension. I might even look into putting some glue up in here if it comes off in the future. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll get you in there. There we go. There's a drip edge here that door gasket has to go underneath. As it rains, obviously it'll be on the outside. And it goes over top of this plastic piece. This is flush with the body of the car, this plastic piece back here, so you can't get underneath that. And then when I got down here, I had to pull this lip of that seal out to get over top of this one plastic piece here, because I couldn't get my thumb back underneath this plastic piece. And then that just pushes in. Once you get it laid up into there, you push the gasket into the corner, and then it all seats into place, and you can press it down once you get that all set in. And make sure you put your carpet all back in where it's supposed to be. I don't think that was perfect either before anyway. I'm babbling now, sorry. So yeah, I didn't have to cut this. This was a good fit. It went in perfect. So obviously your results might vary depending how tight you put it in, but it should be good for now. But that just goes to show I probably lost 3 inches out of that other gasket, because I had a pretty good gap there. Might even be able to show you the gap on the other side, so hang on. Now this one's not as bad, but I had a much bigger gap down here and a much bigger gap over here too, and this is where that was actually rubbed through, and there was a hole in the gasket right here from people getting in and out. So I'm going to continue on. Well, here's the rear passenger side, hanging down, won't stay up. So what we have to do is there's one screw here, and then there's another screw up under here, but in order to get to one, we're going to have to pull this gasket out and then pry this one piece back. So I'm going to start with this top and work my way down, and I should be able to pry this back, and I should be able to get at a push pin back there. I'll turn you guys on when I get to it, so hang on. So there's a push pin right in the middle of this one piece. I'm gonna try and get my screwdriver right onto the stud. I'm gonna pry that out right there, because if you pull on the plastic, you might actually break the plastic. And then you can see the screw right there. So let me get the screwdriver on that. Okay, you can see where the screw is going to have to go in from the outside right to there, but I'm gonna have to put the seat all the way forward, not only so I can get the screwdriver on there, but so I can actually pull this plastic piece out. Seats are electric on this, so it's not hard to just put that forward. Okay, my seat's already loose because I have to fix a spring in the trunk one of these days, so I can pick this up. Like I said before, you gotta wiggle it back and forth while you lift up on it till it unclips. Not the most easy thing in the world. Matter of fact, I'm probably gonna need a second hand to hold the seat up. So. Yeah, this one I had to twist a little bit more on the other side, and then that'll push up under there. That'll push out like that. Lift that out. And then take that on out. Now I'm gonna have to start from here and go forward because I had to put this together the same order I took it apart. So this bottom piece has to go on, and then this has to go back on, but I gotta fish that gasket on first, and then I'm gonna have to use a pick to pull the overlap over this plastic piece like I did on the driver's side. So let me start putting that in. Okay, back here I can leave this pushed out so I can get the gasket laid in. I got the screw put back in here, so now I can put this back in as I'm pulling out this one flap here. So I'm trying to get the pin to line up with the slot. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see in there. There we go. Holding that back. I'm gonna need a second hand to, but you get the idea. You gotta hold this gasket back while you get that push pin in. I'm noticing that this headliner is done. The foam's got no rigidity in it. I'm gonna have to see if I can get a new one. There's dents in it, there's stuff hanging off. That's getting pretty bad, but anyway, like I said, you have to hold this rubber back while you put that on so you don't peel that any more than you have to. I want to save that headliner project for another day. I'd rather fix the AC going into the summertime, honestly. But yeah, something for another day. I'm going to try and recover these pieces that go back here because that came off of them. And I have to find one of those clips. There was no foam on these, they're just cardboard, so I can just glue fabric to them. But yeah, I'm gonna continue on. Sorry if I bore you with saying that over and over again, but I just don't want to make you guys think that I'm leaving you hanging. Cut this about 3/8 of an inch longer than what I needed and kind of squished both of these back. And then this is going to go over top of it and seal everything off. I do have to get that one piece of plastic back into those slots. This needs to come up out from underneath the seat. Like that, and then I can put the screw back in. That's not going in and out or twisting, so that's in the slot. That's over top like it's supposed to be. And there is like a little insert you want to get inside that tube like it's supposed to be. And then I can move on to the next door. So lather, rinse, repeat for opposite sides. Now one thing I did notice with these is the noise is definitely down. I'm hoping I don't get the water leaking inside of it anymore. And the doors do close a little bit harder now because of the new gaskets. I imagine they'll break in after a little while, but it's a lot quieter now with the new gaskets. So you are going to have to deal with a harder closing opening door until those gaskets settle in, but that's way better than losing my heat out the holes or hearing all the wind noise going down the highway. So, hope that was helpful. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye. I just want to give you an update on the condition of the car. Since the engine overhaul, I haven't had to worry about topping off the fluids as much. I was having to put coolant in almost every 3 weeks. I've been put over probably 400 miles on this car, and it's still holding fluids really good, no leaks. No check engine light. Sometimes the ABS light comes on. I did get a wire diagram, and I think what the problem is there's a signal that goes from the module to the ABS pump and then back to the module. I think there's a bad connection somewhere because it's not every time. Cruise control still works, radio still works. Had 111,700 when I bought the car. It's got 140,275 on it. Fixed quite a few things in the interior. I mean, the door panels aren't too bad, but I do still have to fix a couple things. Like there's a crack here, there's a burn mark there, and then there's a hole there, and one crack here, and one crack here on the dash. I gotta put some conditioner on that. And I do plan on putting a headliner on it at some point. I want to buy one of those rear view mirror with the cameras, front and back. I want to put one of those on here. As for things I've added to the car, is I put a Tech charger in here. This is a 25 watt charger, and it's got a smart cable that has surge protection on it, or short protection. That goes out the bottom here. So that actually closes. The cord runs down, comes up right here, and it's actually magnetic, so I can just plug it in on the go with one hand. And then when I'm done with it, I stick it to the seatbelt buckle so it doesn't drop under the seat. Or I can just fold it up and stick it underneath the center console. So you have to excuse the mess. It's a project, but yeah, I've been working on it little by little. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.